Hi, everybody. Welcome to The Reason We Learn. I'm Deb Philman, mom, homeschooler, educator. So I came across a series of tweets recently. This is from yesterday, I think. It so perfectly captures what I've been trying to explain about what's wrong, what's happening to our kids that is making them lash out and join this. I shouldn't say join, they're just part of it organically. They're part of this woke movement, part of this pseudo reality that says, if you don't believe as I believe, you don't act as I act, you don't think as I think, you are dangerous. You're a danger to me. I have to cancel you. I have to destroy you. You know, they behave irrationally as if other people who aren't exactly like them present an existential threat. So I want to get into this, but before I do, I'd like to ask for your support for this channel. If you would consider subscribing to the channel, if you find this content helpful or interesting, like the videos, comment on the videos, share the videos. It is a huge help. I really appreciate it. It helps get the word out to more parents, more teachers, more concerned citizens who are interested in education and where we're going with it in America. It's so important. So here's what she says. A part of maturing is a process called individuation. It is embodying the knowledge that you're an autonomous individual and being able to discern the line where you end and the other begins. Infants are usually in a state of fusion. It's pretty obvious, right? Adolescents rebel because they are starting the process of individuation and developing their own identity. Collectively, we are seeing people who have not individuated and have fused to each other. People who will not behave as you behave, create a problem for you. Understanding that people will not behave exactly as you behave, that understanding that is part of maturation. When you are a healthy autonomous individual, you're able to respect other people's autonomy as well. And when this collides with ideological possession, so when an ideology just possesses you or takes you over, or you are indoctrinated with an ideology, we see people emotionally torment and abuse people who are not them for behaving in ways that they wouldn't behave. Learn the line where you end and the other begins. And this is how otherism happens. Otherism can only happen if you derive your sense of security from others. Sort of ironic. It's like a weird paradox. If you don't have any sense of your own internal locus of control, I talk about locus of control a lot on this channel, but if you believe that who you are and what controls you or what, defines you, your destiny, all these things comes from out there, that certain things are predetermined, not just about what you look like, but what awaits you in life, what opportunities you'll have, what fights you're going to fight, who is against you, who is for you, all of these things. If you are told from the moment you walk into school that that's other people, it's not you, that you don't have agency, these are beyond your control, or you have privilege, so you have something other people don't have, and that's bad. You owe them now. So now the owing is beyond your control. You're born obligated to do something to assuage your guilt. So you either have obligation or victimization. You're either an oppressor or a victim. You are defined by your skin color, not your character, not your choices. All of these things contribute to hampering the child's ability to individuate. It would be like breaking their emotional kneecaps and then telling them to walk properly. It's just not going to happen. And the sad part is that I think a lot of kids today are getting a double whammy. I don't want to go on a full frontal attack against parents, but there are a fair number of what we might call helicopter parents out there. And I think it's become a symbiotic relationship between them and the schools to a large degree, where parents have created at least the illusion of a demand for schools to parent their children and not just teach their children, to make sure they don't suffer any kind of disappointments or hurts. Or, bad grades. Oh, no. It's not just about social justice. It's about them being fragile. And, the self-esteem can only be maintained if nothing bad happens to you, if you don't suffer any kind of traumatic experience or failure. I would argue the opposite. You can't develop self-esteem if you don't have, small and increasingly large failures, because life is about falling down and getting back up. Things are just going to happen. You get in an accident, someone could die. I mean, you could get sick, any number of things. You get fired from a job, or the company goes out of business, or, oh, there's a global pandemic. So many things can happen. And your ability to cope depends upon how secure you feel within yourself that you have the power to cope, that you can continue to exist. And if your belief in yourself is attached to your belief in an ideology that requires you to be attached to other people, because that's what wokeism does. You're required to be in your group. You are part of a group. Individualism is explicitly bad, negative, selfish, racist, all of these things. And if that happens, you are literally cut off at the knees as far as maturity. And I think we really need to think about that, because we're doing that to our kids with this woke stuff. So when I talk about it being dangerous, I talk about it abusing kids, this is what I mean. This is exactly what I mean. Do you want your children to know who they are as individuals, or do you want them to see other people who behave differently, even the least little bit differently, as an existential threat that must be destroyed? Who must be destroyed? Because that's pretty much where we are right now. They must be silenced, destroyed, and the person must be protected from them. I'll give you one concrete example of this. There are so many, but then I'm going to sign off and just let you think about it. I saw a video about a week ago of a young lady. I would say she was probably about 17 or 18 years old, in an elevator in a building. Somebody got into the elevator not wearing a mask. Now, she could have gotten out of the elevator. She could have politely asked the person to put on a mask if she was seriously concerned. She could have turned and, faced away from the person. She could have gotten to the opposite side of the elevator, gotten as far away as possible from them, and then quickly gotten off the elevator at the next time. Whatever. There were all kinds of other choices. Instead, and this is just a tiny little thing, she didn't have to spend a lot of time with this person. She completely lost it. And you've probably seen the video of the teacher losing it too, seeing people unmasked on the sidewalk, and she's in her car. She's not even threatened. This girl came unglued, screaming, crying, cussing at this person, banging her arms on the wall of the elevator. At any other time, we would have said she needs psychiatric care. She has lost her mind. She has lost her rational mind. But we've gotten to a point now where we're desensitized to her behavior, and we look at the gentleman who wouldn't put on the mask and say, "You bully, why did you do that to her? Why did you threaten her in that way?" He chose not to wear a mask. She was wearing a mask. She had other options. Those few seconds in his presence probably weren't going to make the difference. Let's get real, right? But to her, it was a life or death situation. We've done that to our children. That's just one example, and that's with this particular situation. We've done it with race. We've done it with, socioeconomic situations. We've done it with school debt. We've done it with any possible trial or tribulation of life. If somebody else has a different opinion of it, or says, no, that here's another option that you have here, they must be shouted down, screamed at, silenced, shut up. There's no conversation possible with somebody who goes from 0 to 100 in a nanosecond rather than cope. And that's why this is what's happening. Tell someone what their identity is. Tell them it comes from the outside. Tell them they have no choice, and do it every year for a decade. And that's what you get. So that's the video. Thank you for watching. If you have any comments, please share them in the comment section, in the comments below. And see you next time.